Continuing, we're going to keep moving things along. Now I have the honor of introducing our keynote speaker, Sister Anne Smolin. Many of you know Sister Anne, a sister of St. Joseph. She's a therapist, a group facilitator, a lecturer, a consultant. She's a good friend, too. She's the executive director of the Counseling for Laity. She's an international speaker on topics including humor, laughter, joy, stress, and motivation. She has authored several books. She encourages us to laugh more and look for the special moments that make us smile and bring joy. So, everybody ready for more laughter, more joy? Sister Anne Smolin.
What an honor and privilege it has been to spend time with Matilda Cuomo, who really and truly makes every moment count. And thank you for all that you've always done and for who you are. And for all the people in this room, we need to do the same thing. We need to live every single moment, make every single moment count. How do we do that? We live in the most lonely, stressful culture that has ever existed. And because of that, what's so terribly important for us to do is to really make choices to live these moments, to find the joy, to find the happiness, to create the positive energy that's around. Mrs. Cuomo just said something very important. We need to keep a sense of balance in our own life, because unless we do, there's no way we truly can attend to someone else. We have to start with that person that we see in a mirror. You know, I sat on a plane once, I heard the stewardess say, when the oxygen drops down, put it over your own face before you put it over the face of your child. My mind immediately went to this baby that was 2 seats up from me. I thought, if that baby was mine, I would want to take the oxygen, put it over the baby's face, then take the oxygen, put it over my own face. And then I sat there remembering the horror stories. The reality of what happens in a plane. When the cabin pressure changes, it changes instantly. And unless you take that oxygen and put it over your own face, there's no way that you have the ability to take the oxygen and put over the baby's face. The baby will die, and so will you. You must first start with yourself, then you can attend to as many people as you want. And I thought, isn't that a good way to remember that we need to take care of ourselves and keep that sense of balance in our life? Now, how do we do it? One of the things we need to do is always slow ourselves down to the moment in front of us. See, the moment in front of us always has a little bit of joy, has a little bit of humor, but we miss this moment. We miss it because we're living yesterday, you know? Geez, why'd I say that? If only I didn't. Maybe I should have. Why do? And we're back there. You can't change yesterday. We can't take a thing back we said. We can't take a thing back we did. It's over, you know? Now, there's not a lot of power in tomorrow. We can hope for it, but there's not one of us that are truly assured of it. What we have is now. When you grab that energy and keep it in your body, you keep health and creativity in your body. I always ask people to learn to seize the moment. Seize the moment. I mean, think of the people in the Titanic that passed up dessert. You know what I mean? Now, how do we do it? How do we do it? One of the things we have to do, and I said a second ago that we live in a time that is so stressful and very lonely. One of the things that we have to do, and this is going to sound flip, and really it's not, more than ever before, we need to make a choice to be a happy person. Do you know happiness is a choice? You know there's some people who choose not to be happy? You may know some people, huh? Maybe you work with some people who choose not to be happy. Maybe you live with some people who choose not to be happy. Let me make a comment. Don't spend a lot of time with them. Because negative thinking clogs the brain. You hang around with negativity, you swallow that negative energy. And then you keep that negative energy all around you. Did you ever notice how negative people whine? They're great whiners, you know? Nothing good ever happens to me. I never get picked for any committee. You know, they whine. You want to say, get off the cross, we need the wood. You know what I mean? How do we do it? One of the things that we need to do, and this is really important, is to make sure that we keep ourselves open, that we really and truly live each moment, that we grab the moments that are in front of us and find the energy and the joy that's there, and not hold on to crazy myths. We so often learn things and we never check them out. Let me show you a couple. We have a myth about work. People think they're not supposed to enjoy work. So they walk around saying, thank God it's Friday. Well, you want to say, what about the rest of the week? We need to enjoy everything. We need to enjoy every moment. Life is too short not to enjoy doing what we're doing. You know, we need to be able to do that. And then we need to always find some laughter. We need to find laughter in workplaces, in our homes, in the Century House. I don't care where we find it. We need to find that laughter. But you see, we have another myth about laughter. We think if you hear people laughing, they're wasting time, they're being irresponsible, they're being immature. We now know that when people laugh, they remember between 250% and 700% more. Between 250% and 700% more. Think of the implications if we filled all of our schools with laughter, huh? What would happen if we filled churches? People might come, you know what I mean? There's another myth. There's a myth about aging. People think as you get older, you're supposed to get sick. Read the National Institute on Aging studies. There is no correlation. Great story about this 82-year-old guy. He's got this terrible problem with his knee. He can't stand, he can't sit, he can't do anything. The pain is atrocious. He goes to the doctor. He says, you got to do something with this knee. I can't stand, I can't sit. The pain is atrocious. Doctor examines his knee. He goes, yeah, but what do you expect? It's an 82-year-old knee. Guy says, I know, so's the other one, and it doesn't hurt. So one of the things we want to do is not hold on to myths. For us to live every moment and make it count, we need to keep our world as broad as possible. There are people, I know you're not in this room, but you do know people, they go through life with blinders on. One way to do it, my way or through way. You know people like that? They think there's only one way to do something. No, there's not. There's always another way of doing things. And when you take those blinders down, your perceptual world gets broadened. Then we can even sit across the table from each other and disagree with each other. You see, we don't need to agree with each other. We need to accept each other, huh? We don't need to agree with each other. We need to accept each other. But we need to keep that world as broad as possible. Great story about this guy. He's in prison for life. He decides he's going to create a goal for himself. He's going to see if he can dig a tunnel. I mean, maybe it'll work and maybe not. But what the heck, he's in for life anyway. So every night he goes down, he digs a little bit more, digs a little bit more, digs a little bit more. After years of digging, all of a sudden he sees the sunlight coming through the ground. He realizes he's created this tunnel. He comes charging through the ground, screaming, free, free, free. I'm free at last. There's this little kid standing on the side. She's watching this guy come up through the ground. She puts her hand on her hip. She says, you think that's good? I'm for. You know, it's in our perceptions, huh? Did you ever notice when we listen to each other, sometimes we even change our own minds? We even keep ourselves more open? Not too long ago, I was on my way to Phoenix to do a lecture. I had a 6 a.m. flight leaving from the airport, going to Chicago. But across the aisle, and if you've been in the airport, you know you can hear anything that's happening on both sides, okay? On the other side of the aisle, there was a 6 a.m. flight leaving for Washington, D.C. All of a sudden, we hear the guy over there pick up the microphone. We have a problem, and of course, we all look over, okay? He says, there's a piece on this plane that's broken. Now we have a choice. We can call maintenance. They can come over. They can look at it. They can go back. They can get it. They can come back. They can install it. And that should take about a 2-hour delay. Everybody goes, oh no. Or we can fly to Washington without that piece being replaced. Now, if you choose the latter, it means you won't have any coffee because it's a coffee pot that needs to be replaced, right? Everybody says, who the heck wants coffee anyway? And they all go running on the plane. Sometimes when we keep ourselves open, you see, we really and truly can be able to do that, huh? And then even sometimes when we stay open, we really and truly open up ourselves to wonderful memories and things that happen. I have the privilege of working in an elementary school 2 mornings a week doing counseling with the kids. And there's this little kindergarten kid who, he's really, you know, he's just a sharp little kid, you know. And his brother, the mother called and asked if I would see him. There was a tragedy in the family, and the child just doesn't talk. He doesn't talk at any place. He doesn't talk at home, doesn't talk in school. I mean, he's no problem, but he just doesn't verbalize things. And the mother was kind of concerned. She said, see if you can get him to talk, would you? Because he lost both his brother and his father in the same accident, and he just is swallowing it all. So I went to get him. And I said to him, you know, I said, I bet, and you could tell he didn't really want to come. I said, I bet you I got out of some class, right? Yeah. What'd I get you out of? Religion. I said, was that okay? Yeah. You like the teacher? Oh, she's not there. Oh? He says, no. And now he has a whole sentence. He says, no, we have a substitute. See, the real religion teacher broke her neck, and she won't be in till the end of the year. Now, I knew that wasn't true. But I also thought, he finally said a whole sentence. Why should I correct it? You know, he's finally talking to me. I went, oh, really? He said, yeah, we have a sub. I said, really? You like the sub? Yeah. But that person's only going to be here till tomorrow. Then we're getting somebody else. And I knew that wasn't true, but I thought, oh. I said, really? I said, yeah. And then I said something that as soon as I said it, I wish I could have pushed the words back in. I turned and I said, tell me, is the substitute, he told me her name was Mrs. Baker. I said, is she older or younger? And he looked at me. Now, children have no concept of age, as you know. And I'm thinking, why would I have said that? Wasn't that the dumbest thing to say, you know? And he turned and he goes, I don't know. And I said, well, let me guess. I bet she's older than you. He goes, oh, yeah. And I said, and I bet she's younger than me. He goes, oh, no, she's at least 38. Hold on, stay open, because sometimes we get those messages and we can hold on to it. But you know where it really lies? It lies in our attitudes. And if our attitudes are negative, the world perceives us as negative, huh? And then we can never accomplish the things that have been said in this room. The reality is we need, and attitudes are important because it's something you and I have control over. We can't control an event or a situation. What we can do is decide how we'll respond to that event or that situation. And that's in our attitudes. Story about this kid. He's got this ball, this bat, this huge field. He wants to play ball. He can't find anybody to play with. He says, what the heck? He goes out, he takes the ball, he throws it up, and he swings and misses and goes strike one. Bends over again, he picks up the ball, throws it up, and he swings and misses and goes strike two. Bends over again, picks up the ball, throws it up, and he swings and misses and goes strike three. He bends over, he picks up the ball, he fixes his baseball hat, and he says, wow, what a pitcher. It's in our attitudes, huh? And what we need to do sometimes is carry a little stick in our head that goes from 1 to 10. Everything in life doesn't deserve an 8, 9, or 10. Some stuff deserves a 1, 2, or 3. Now, I'm not trying to imply in any way that we don't have an effect on each other. We certainly do, as we've heard in this room today. We really do. As a matter of fact, there was a wonderful study that came out about 4 years ago now. It says the person sitting next to you right now, is affecting your mood. Some of you may want to change seats. I don't know. I'm just going to... Or maybe sitting between two people got a 50-50 chance of picking up something good. The reality is we do. I read a wonderful story about this piano bar. Everybody, the place was packed every night. People came just to hear this guy play the piano beautifully. After a couple of months, though, one of the faithful patrons went to the owner and said, get the guy to sing something, you know? I mean, he plays beautifully, but get him to sing something. I'd love to hear him sing. So the owner of the bar goes over and says to the piano player, he wants you to sing something. The piano player says, I don't sing, I only play. He said, look, that guy comes in here every night. I'm not going to lose his business. He said, I don't care what you sing, and I don't even care what it sounds like. If you want to be paid tonight, you sing. And he walks away. The piano player started to play Sweet Lorraine, and it was the first time anyone ever heard Nat King Cole sing in public. We call forth gifts from each other. We really and truly are much more connected. And what we need to do is to really and truly do that. How do we do it? There are 4 ways always that we constantly bring healing and health to each other. Please note they're all free. Laughing, crying, yawning and stretching, it's considered the same behavior, and touching. Let me go through it. You know what laughter does? It bonds you together. It forms community. You like to be with people that you laugh with. Why? Because there's positive energy, you know? And if you walk past a group of people and they're laughing, you might find yourself smiling even if you don't know what they're laughing about. Why? Because it's the energy that's coming out. But when we take that laughter and we experience it, we swallow it, and it stays into our body up to 45 minutes. We can bring healing to the very muscles of our body simply with that gift of laughter. But what we know about laughter is that it's like a vacation. If you don't plan it, it doesn't happen. You have to put it in your day. We have to put it in our homes. We have to put it in our workspace, huh? We have to put it in your cars. All the way back home when we leave here today, let's all laugh all the way home, okay? Even if you're by yourself, don't worry about people looking at you. They're going to wonder anyway, so let them wonder, you know, kind of thing. And watch how good you feel, because what you're doing is bringing that energy back into your own body. You really are. You know, it would be it would not be fair to ever talk about laughter without giving Norman Cousins credit. He's the one who really taught us how terribly important laughter was. He was dying. They told him you have max 3 months to live. He said, then I'm checking out of this hospital. If I'm not going to live, what's the sense of staying around? So he checks out of the hospital, checks into a hotel room, starts thinking about his life, and he said, wow, all this stress and negativity is causing me this illness. I better prescribe for myself some laughter. So he prescribed for himself 4 hours a day of laughter. He rents movies. This is the days before the VCR and the DVDs. He rents those big, huge reels. He watched things like Marx Brothers and Candid Camera, and he cured himself. He was diagnosed in 1966. He died in 1990. Why? He put 4 hours each day, he filled them with laughter, which then decreased his level of pain, which then allowed him to sleep. Do you see how our body functions as one? We need to keep that balance in our life. We need to take care of ourselves. You know, I never talk about anything I don't have credibility in. Therefore, I never address anything in relation to nutrition or exercise. As you can tell, they don't fit within my repertoire, all right? But the one exercise I believe in is laughter, because your whole body gets involved when you laugh. Your body temperature goes up at least 1 degree, the glottis and the larynx begin to rock, air rumbles up along the windpipe, bang against the trachea, and it explodes out of your body at 70 miles an hour. That's what happens when you laugh. Stanford Medical Journal has a wonderful study that says 10 seconds of laughter is comparable to 3 minutes of rowing a boat. Now, why would you row a boat for 3 minutes? You see what I'm saying? You got to put the laughter in your day. And here's a homework assignment, and this is not negotiable. We all need a laughing buddy. We all need somebody that when the world is falling apart, okay, and they think we are too, you can pick up a phone to everybody's falling apart, but you got to help me laugh. We all need a laughing buddy. So you have until 5 o'clock tonight to identify a laughing buddy, okay? Now, some of you are poking each other, so you have one, all right? That's good. But seriously, treat yourself. The second one, tears, crying, is another way of releasing negative energy. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. So often we're afraid to let those tears come. Isn't it interesting, as of September 11th, it's okay for men to cry in public. It always was okay, but really and truly, what it does is release the toxic energy inside of us. We have some very frightening studies that tell us that we hold our memories in the cells of our bodies. We hold our memories in the cells of our bodies. Research I'm referring to is coming from organ transplant patients. If you know anybody who's had an organ transplant, talk to them. They'll tell you they're different, and they'll tell you how they're different. Very frightening research. I've worked with a group at Albany. And what's it say? It says what we hold on to defines us. So you hold on to old hurts, old angers, old negativities, it's going to eat away. We need to let go of that and to live this moment. What do we hear people say? Do you know what she said to me last year? What do you remember it for a whole year? Do you know? Worst Christmas of my life was 1912. I mean, that's what we do. Hold on to that. We need to live this moment. The third one, yawning and stretching. Now, as minute you mention it, of course, everybody starts to yawn because it's very contagious. But you know that there's no correlation to yawning and being tired. The reason we yawn is because we're stretching our body to bring the oxygen into our body, which then sends the blood and the oxygen up to our brain. But what we know about yawning is that you use the same muscle configuration as when you smile. You say it takes 43 muscles to frown, 15 to smile. When you smile and you yawn, you're really relaxing the muscles of your face. You really are. And then stretching, it's considered part of that. Now, you've been sitting here listening to, we've been here in this wonderful room hearing wonderful things. Now, treat yourself. Everybody, go ahead and stretch. Go ahead, stretch. Give your body a chance. Yeah, go ahead. Some of you need to practice. Come on. Doesn't that feel good? It does. And even if you just take your hands and shake them, what you're doing is bringing positive energy back into your body. And then the fourth one is touching. We know what happens to babies when they're not held. They die. So do we, huh? So do we. We need somebody to put their arm around us. We need somebody to take our hand. Now, I'm talking appropriate everything, and we live in a world where I need to make that statement. But and it makes me angry because I really think we're still afraid to let little kids come close to us. We're afraid to hug little kids. And we're going to raise a generation of people who are afraid of intimacy and not know how to build healthy relationships. We really need to address it. I mean, go to a wake, you don't know what to say to somebody. You put your arm around the person, huh? You don't need any words. Now, you might also want to know that every time you kiss someone, you use up 13 calories. I mean, time it right, you could have hot fudge sundaes. Make it work for you. Couple more little things. What else do we do? In reality, I think one of the things that we have to do is to learn to do something that I bet people in this room don't know how to do well at all. We need to relax a little. We need to relax. We're so hard on ourselves. We're so serious, huh? And we don't know how to relax. We got to keep that balance in our life. We need to relax a little. We do. The best example I have, and I think it's because Mrs. Cuomo's from New York, but let me say this. The best example I have of relaxing is my sister. I have a wonderful sister, but she can drive me crazy, all right? She worries about everything, okay? She worries about everything. I mean, I was in Pueblo, Colorado doing a retreat, and I always call back to tell my mother I've arrived safely someplace, so Mom won't worry. My sister gets on the extension, she says, "Do you know what I just saw on CNN News? There's a wolf running loose through Colorado. It's running loose through Colorado." I said, "I'm sure it's going to be in the backyard by the end of this phone call, She said, "You think you're funny?" I said, "No, but I think it's dumb worrying about a wolf running loose through Colorado." This is the story I want to tell you, though. Every year, there's a group of us that are tennis fans. And every year, we go down to the U.S. Open down in Flushing, all right? We go the Saturday before Labor Day, and we meet the same group down there. Even if it rains, you're not going to see tennis, we still go down because we meet the group. We eat tennis, talk tennis, live tennis, all right? We really are. One year, we're driving down. My sister's driving. We pass a sign. It says, Tappan Zee Bridge, $3, 3 miles. My sister said, "The bridge is coming." I said, "Yeah, I saw that." She said, "Well, I need the money." I said, "Yeah, I know." She said, "Well, give me the money." I said, "You don't need the money now. You need the money in 3 miles." She says, "I want the money." I said, "What the heck do you want the money now for? If I give you the money, you're going to drop the money." My mother's in the back seat. She says, "Give her the money." I said, "Mom, I'm going to give her the money. I'm not going to let her get off the bridge without the money." I said, let me give you some change." She said, "Don't even think about that." I said, "But it doesn't say no change. It says $3. I bet people pull up to those booths and say, "Excuse me, do you have any change?" She reaches over, grabs the wallet, unzips the wallet, rips out 3 $1 bills, throws the wallet down. We get to the end of the bridge and we stop. There's 5 cars ahead of her. I say, "Can I point out something to you? This is why you don't take your money out 3 miles down the road. Now you're sitting here, you don't have anything to do, and you have 5 cars ahead of you while you're waiting." Some of you need to take your money out 3 miles down the road, huh? You need to take your money out down the road. The reality is, I think one of the things that we have to do to live each moment fully, to grab the energy that's there, to always be aware of what's right in front of us, is we've got to look for the surprises in our day. There are surprises all the time. You're going to see them before we leave the Century House. You're going to see them on the way back home. You're going to see them in your own homes. We'll see them all over. If you start to look for the surprises, the unexpected things. We get so busy. We get so task-oriented sometimes that we block out all the energy things that are really right in front of us. Look for the surprises. There are things that really and truly bring us right down to the moment and help us live so fully. I have been absolutely blessed. I have some wonderful, wonderful friends in my life. One of my friends, Kath, is really a good friend, but Kath has never lasted more than 2 weeks doing anything in her whole life. She was going to go to yoga. That lasted 2 weeks. Then she took up swimming. That lasted 2 weeks. And then she was going to ride her bike, even bought a new helmet, and that lasted 2 weeks, okay? So we call her 2-week Kath. And I don't know why she shares anything with us, because we're always making fun of her, but that's a different story. But a couple years back, she told us she was going to Weight Watchers. Now, Kath's not heavy, but she heard that that you could count points, and she was going to put her physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual life together using the Weight Watchers program, all right? Go for it, Kath. That should be good for 2 weeks. Now, Kath lasted 22 weeks in this program, all right? And I have to tell you, I was so loyal to her during this time. I mean, what are you doing, Kath? What are you focusing on? Good for you, Kath. Good for you. Making all kinds of focus, making sure, every couple days, how you doing? What's going on? Until 16 weeks into the program, when she called me up on a Saturday, and she said, come on, Ann, let's go for a walk. I was so tired I couldn't even go. I said, I can't, Kath. I'm so tired I can't even say. I had been on so many planes that week. I was so exhausted. I said, I just want to sit down, take out a book, and read. Too bad about you. You're always telling everybody to be connected to each other. You're always telling everybody to get some exercise, and you never get any exercise yourself. Now listen, we're going on this walk, and this is the route we're going to take. So she maps out the route and says, just before we get to the end, there's a Stewart's, and you can go in and get a small ice cream. Now, I know that's the carrot she's holding in front of my face, all right? I figured, what the heck, I could go for a walk with her, right? Could I talk to all the people in this room that walk? It's a cult. You have your own vocabulary, She kept yelling at me because I wasn't walking brisk. I said, what's that mean? She couldn't tell me, but I wasn't doing it. And then you're supposed to shake your arms a certain way, I'd say something, she'd start to laugh. Stop making me laugh, we can't laugh. I'm thinking, what the heck are we doing this for? This isn't even fun. She went through this whole walk. We get to Stewart's and we go in and we get our small ice cream. Did you ever get a small ice cream? They're like memories. You have it finished before you walk out the store, all right? Following Saturday, she calls me up and says, come on, Ann, we're going for our walk. I said, Kath, where did the words our walk come from? I don't think I ever put those words together. Too bad. We're going for our walk. We're going to do the same route. You go into Stewart's and get your small ice cream, and I'm coming over to pick you up, and she hangs up the phone. This time, it's a total disaster. Not only did I not walk brisk, not only did I not shake my arms appropriately, but I met loads of people I knew along the way, and I stopped to talk to them, all right? You're not supposed to stop and talk to people. The rules of walking are you don't stop and talk to people. How do I know the rules of walking? I don't walk. How are you supposed to know the rules if you don't do something? Stop making me laugh. We can't laugh. I said, Kath, what are we doing this for? Finally, I said, Kath, I'm telling you right now, don't ever call me on Saturday for the rest of your life. Your friendship's much more important than this dumb walking. I'm never going to be home, so don't call me. I'm telling you right now. All of a sudden, we're almost at Stewart's, and we're almost going in, and I happen to look, and there's a car parked in front of Stewart's, and there's a bumper sticker on the back of the car, and it said, fat people are harder to kidnap. I said, look at that sign. I said, I'm taking care of myself, and I haven't even got the biggest ice cream cone I could get. I think for us to make each moment count, to really live each moment, we have to make choices that help us to be healthy people. And that's the word that I really want to say for a second, choices. There's always choices in front of us, huh? There's a great story about a construction worker. He goes to work every day and he brings his lunchbox. And the guys all break at the same time for lunch. He sits down, he opens up his lunchbox, and he goes, bologna again, bologna again. Same thing happens for every day for a couple weeks. Finally, one of the guys turns and says, if you're so sick of bologna sandwiches, why don't you ask your wife to make you something besides a bologna sandwich? He says, oh, my wife doesn't make my sandwiches, I make my own. This is my point. I think a lot of times we feed ourselves a lot of bologna and we don't do anything about it. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think what we need to do is to make those choices, to grab the choices that are in front of us, to really and truly choose to live and with positive people, to really make positive choices with that. And when we do that, one of the things that we have to do is to recognize that there's two skills that I truly believe are the most important skills right now in the culture to connect us with each other, to make a difference in each other's world. Simple little skills. I think we need to smile and keep eye contact. I think we need to smile and keep on. We need to look at each other. Did you even notice how we don't even look at each other anymore? We walk around staring at a rug or something. What are you looking at the rug for, You have a piece of paper in your hand, you're staring at a piece of paper. We need to look at each other. Because once you look at someone, they're no longer anonymous, We now give people the recognition of the dignity of their very personhood. And then, did you ever notice when you smile, people smile back? As a matter of fact, the studies tell us that there's 80 different ways of smiling. 80 different ways. Okay, I want to practice a smile, and then look around this table that you had lunch with. I want to see a big smile. I want to see the kind of smile that shows your teeth. And if you don't have teeth, show your gums. I don't really care. Now look. Doesn't it look better? It does. It does. Because when we're connected that way, we really do feel that energy. We do. And so for all of us, to make every day count, it means being aware that we walk with each other, that we make a difference in each other's lives, and people make a difference in our lives, That we really and truly can hear wonderful stories as we heard today, because people cared enough to be able to live the moment, to grab the joy, to bring that joy to other people, And that for all of us, whatever you give away, remember, always comes back. You never have to worry about that. Whatever you give away always comes back. And we are richer people because we have touched each other's lives and people have been able to touch our life. And so for us to live each second is really the choice of really and truly being healthy, happy, holy, positive people. And let me end with a quote that I love, a quote that I brought because it always says to me, it said to me what I was thinking of all of the people in this room before I came, and so I looked it up. It's in one of my books, by the way. Emotions were at a high pitch in Berlin in the early days of the famous Berlin Wall. Hostilities flared when truckloads of stinking garbage were dumped over the wall into West Berlin by those living in the eastern sector of the city. Mayor Willy Brandt was flooded with demands for demands of revenge at this offense, but he responded in a unique way. Mayor Brandt requested that every flower in West Berlin be brought to a specific place at the wall. Then, as a great avalanche of fragrant and beautiful flowers was poured over the wall into East Berlin, a large banner was raised. Written on the banner were the words, "We each give what we have." We each give what we have. For every person in this room, for us to live each moment and make each moment count, we each can give what we have. And so for all of us, I ask, my prayer will always be that you live well, that you love much, and that you all laugh often. Thank you for the privilege of being here.